ആദ്യത്തെ പ്രഭാഷണം പ്രഫുല്ല കേൽക്കർ ജിയുടേതാണ്. വിഷയം നമുക്കറിയാം, സ്വരാജ് 75, what to celebrate and why. I cordially invite Prafulla Ketkar ji to deliver his speech.
Shri Anurag ji, members of the Amrit Mahotsav Samiti and enlightened citizens of Kozhikkode. Actually, I was not supposed to be a speaker here. As a media partner, organizer has been associated with this Freedom Talks. So I was supposed to be there yesterday for the inaugural session. But because my program was already fixed in Bangalore regarding the same series, we had one function there with Mythic Society, and anyway yesterday Shri Nandakumar ji was there to deliver the inaugural address. So today I thought at least I should come and meet the organizing committee. We are a media partner, and the thought came that, maybe Vinay ji is the able person to discuss about the Amrit Mahotsav celebration. But as a media person, as a researcher, as a student of Indian history, I must raise certain questions in this historic city of Calicut. And hopefully we will get some answers from our speakers and in coming days through certain documents. We are celebrating this year, and initially when Prasar Bharati initiated this thing, I was appointed as on the advisory committee as a convener for this. There is one series that is going to be launched on 14th of August called Swaraj. That series starts with arrival of Vasco da Gama at Calicut, and it goes up to the partition. I doubt. I have seen that outside Kerala for sure. But I doubt even in Calicut if everybody can name the person in whose court Vasco da Gama presented himself. Of course, you would know the title and you would call it Zamorin. Then I would ask, why Zamorin? Then you said, no, in Malayalam it is Samudri. No, in Sanskrit it is Samudri. In Portuguese it is Zamorin. We are using Zamorin. Our entire students are studying Zamorin, but still we don't know the dynasty before which Vasco da Gama presented himself. The king who defeated Vasco da Gama on 27th September 1498, and Vasco da Gama had to run away evading taxes, was the king of Calicut called Manavikrama II. But we are not proud of it because we don't know about it. Why? Because we thought that the freedom struggle from 1857 to 1947 that we fought against the British is the only freedom struggle. The idea of political independence somehow revolved around these last 90 years of struggle for self-rule. My primary question is, was India's struggle for independence there for just self-rule? Yesterday I'm sure Nandakumarji must have spoken about the idea of swa, the idea of selfhood and not just self-rule. The point is, what happened before British consolidating here as a political force was something much more important as the process of colonization. The colonization was not just political, it was religio-cultural, it was social, it was of course economic, it was also intellectual. Then the second question comes, we have got the political independence, but our freedom fighters also fought for Swadharma, Swadeshi, Swabhasha, Swashiksha. Have we reinforced our Swa in last 75 years on those lines after getting the self-rule? Third question is more related to Vinayji's area. Because I found very interesting things about the independence struggle happening outside India, present day outside India. Of course, there was a struggle from India House in London. There was a Azad in the Fauj and struggle from Singapore. So entire Southeast Asia in fact got inspiration from India's independence struggle. The same is true about the African continent. In many American universities, India's freedom struggle and its intellectual churning was going on even then. But interestingly, if you see till 1920s or even 1930s, what we see today as India's neighborhood, and not just talking about the partitioned part of India, that is Bangladesh and Pakistan. If you see what was happening in Nepal, what was happening in Myanmar, then was called as Brahmadesh, Burma, what was happening in present day Sri Lanka, then you would realize that almost everyone there was fighting also for the freedom of Bharat. Why? What happened suddenly that Burma, which was fighting for India's freedom struggle till 1940s, suddenly we created a sort of iron curtain immediately when the Cold War started. Why our civilizational linkages? I am not just talking about the nation state, because that was not our concern. Why our civilizational linkages? I have written in my textbooks, I am sure Vinayji must have read it, and in Malayalam also there must be somewhere the references, but in Marathi books definitely it was there, that Tilak was imprisoned in Mandle of Brahmadesh. And for us, Brahmadesh or Rangoon was not something foreign. For those people also, India was never foreign. What happened by 1947, 48, 49, that we even stopped talking to Burma? What happened to our idea of nationhood, which was based on frontiers and not just borders? Why these things changed? My point is, when we are celebrating 75 years of independence, it is not just about, yes, this is an occasion. One civilization nation or other civilizational state, after fighting for centuries, regained its political independence almost with its true spirit. Yes, we have faced a lot of damage. Religiously, many people face persecution. intellectually we got colonized. Many people had to sacrifice their lives. But if you see, there is one question, and again, there is a scope for ICCR to work on this. What was the inspiration behind the process of colonization? Was it just economic, or there was something else? Recently, Pope has apologized to the indigenous community of Canada. Last year, Australian Prime Minister has apologized to the indigenous communities of Australia. If you see right from Americas, Latin America, Africa, to Australia and New Zealand, wherever European colonizers went, the entire indigenous population got vanished completely. They are just in museums now. Whether you call it Red Indians or whatever, they are just in museums. What was so special about us that the Turks, Afghans, Mongols, then British, everybody invaded us, tried to brutally colonize us, inflict on our cultural and religious identity with a sword or a bullet, and then also the intellectual onslaught, and still we survived as a civilization and got independence on 15th August 1947. What was so special about this civilization? That is the key question, I believe, that the unique idea of freedom that we celebrated, and the term that I have learned from Vinayji himself, that the beauty of this land lies in spiritual democracy. This is the only land where we can have multiplicity of gods, multiplicity of ways of worships. There can be an atheist and still he can be part of this Hindu civilization. Is it the only reason because of which we could fight against these forces, or there were many other reasons? Why before independence we do not find any conflict on the basis of language? Only Congress 1940s it starts making its unit on the basis of languages. But we don't find any document. Yesterday I tried to look into Mysore Maharaja's archives also. There is only one document I found about language, but that is also promotion of Sanskrit in schools, not Kannada. What happened in post-independent period that we actually completely grappled with this European construct of linguistic identity, the land where language was just a means of communication and not of social identity, where people would not know where Malayalam ends and Tamil starts, or Malayalam ends and Tulu or Kannada starts. No king in this land ever had the state language as a policy, or whoever started some giving orders in particular language had interpreters in all the possible languages in his state. That was the simple idea of so-called state language. Beyond that, there was nothing called linguistic policy. What happened after post-independence that we are still fighting on the, with each other on the basis of languages? So there are certain historical questions, there are certain present day questions, and we have to carve out a path for the future, next 25 years. As Honorable Prime Minister is saying, we are the only country which without hoarding vaccines supplied it to them for 101 countries. We are the only country when the entire sustainability discussion started, where everybody agreed that if this is the idea from India, then Solar Alliance should be accepted, the headquarters should be in India. We are the only country who made the magic of proposing one idea of International Day for Yoga and 177 countries not just endorse, unanimously pass that as a resolution. So we are reasserting ourselves civilizationally. But still, are we completely decolonized? Have we really regained that path of our selfhood based on Swadharma, Swadeshi, Swabhasha, Swashiksha or Rashtriya Shiksha, and of course Swaraj? Political independence was expected to lead to all other things automatically. If you see the writings of Tagore in Swadeshi Samaj, if Gandhi in Hind Swaraj, if Deen Dayal ji in Ekatma Manav Darshan or Manvendranath Roy in Radical Humanism, all of them lead to similar kind of conclusion that India needs a very decentralized kind of, based on the local resources kind of development model. Are we really going in that direction? Is there any possibility of some kind of synthesis, or we are still confused whether to follow the path of socialism or market capitalism? So these are the questions that come to my mind when we talk about freedom or 75 years of independence. So I believe that this is not just about, yes, this is a joyous occasion. We should participate in it. We should invite each and every citizen of India to be part of it. There should be Har Ghar Tiranga. There should be celebratory atmosphere everywhere. But at the same time, there has to be some kind of manthana, some kind of churning for this Amrut Kal. What do we really want to achieve in next 25 years? And for that, I have just tried to pose certain questions. I hope we together, with the help of experts like Vinay ji, would try to find genuine answers based on Indian prism and not on the colonial prism. I thank the organizers for allowing organizer to be part of as a media partner in this Freedom Talk series and allowing me to, express my concerns, my ideas about why to celebrate Swaraj at 75, for what. I hope this will generate a new kind of discussion about Azadi Ka Amrut Mahotsav, and we will be able to regain the glory that we expect in next 25 years. Thank you. Thank you very much.